Hello and welcome to This Date in History, also known as TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred to date in years past, both recognized by actual historians, but mainly things that we personally find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. The sources of this information comes from the smart device application Today in History. What happened today in history?
Historical calendar.
And the website onthisday.com. For links to those sources, the music, and anything else we gather throughout the show, check the description. Anyway, I am Aoxander.
I am Locke.
And today is Woden's Day, aka Odin's Day, aka Wednesday, April 6, 2022. Why don't you start us off here today? I did post it,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
In 46 BC, Julius Caesar defeats Caecilius Metellus Scipio and Marcus Aurelius Cato the Younger at the Battle of Thapsus.
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 Interesting. Doing a pretty significant time skip here, jumping up under 402. Stilicho defeated the Visigoths under Alaric in the Battle of Pollentia.
Yes. Also, in another big time skip, 1250, Seventh Crusade, Ayyubids of Egypt capture King Louis IX of France in the Battle of Frankfurt.
Dang, that's a loss. See, it's always nice when, the leaders of countries go into battle with their soldiers, but then you run an extreme risk of losing that leader via, injury, death, capture, missing, or maybe they'll just, screw this and just go AWOL from their own nation. Yeah. Anyway, jumping on up into 1320, the Scots reaffirmed their independence by signing the Declaration of Arbroath. Or Arbroath, yeah. Cool.
Okay. In 1453, Mehmed II begins his siege of Constantinople, Istanbul, which falls on May 29th.
Yeah, well, I guess he really wasn't that meh, I guess, Mehmed? I don't know. In 1580, one of the largest earthquakes recorded in the history of England, Flanders, or northern France, took place. What was the magnitude? Let me look that up. Let's see here. Come on, Google. Okay. Well, it's taking forever and a half. There we go. 1580. Okay, Dover Straits earthquake. It is between 5.3 to 5.9, so that's pretty significant. I'm going to add this to the underbar for anybody who wants to look into more of this. As I do that, what happened in 1652?
Okay, in 1652, at the Cape of Good Hope, Dutch sailor Jan van Riebeck established a supply camp that eventually became Cape Town.
Nice. Yeah, that's out in South Africa, right? Cape Town?
Yes.
Yeah. Jumping up into 1712, the New York slave revolt of 1712 began near Broadway. Oh, look at that. It's kind of like the Occupy movement, Broadway, Wall Street, another famous avenue. 1776, during the American Revolutionary War, ships of the Continental Navy failed in their attempt to capture a Royal Navy dispatch boat. Oh. I wonder if it was carrying anything important.
Also, 1782, King Buddha Yofi Kahulok, Rama I of Siam, modern-day Thailand, established the Chaukri dynasty.
Interesting.
Oh, I gotta get the bathroom.
Okay. 11 years later, in 1793, during the French Revolution, the Committee of Public Safety became the executive organ of the Republic. Well, that sounds a little interesting. Organ? Is it like a heart or like a stomach or something? Jumping on up into 1800, the Treaty of Constantinople established the Septinsular Republic, the first autonomous Greek state since the fall of the Byzantine Empire. This is under the old-style calendar, which was then still in use in the Ottoman Empire. The treaty was signed on the 21st of March.
False alarm, it was a fart.
Well, never trust a fart. Never trust a fart. No, I've learned my lesson too many times with that.
That's why I went to the bathroom, just in case.
Yep.
1808, John Jacob Astor incorporated the American Fur Company that would eventually make him America's first millionaire.
Dang. Nice. Moving on up about another 6 years, in 1814, the nominal beginning of the Bourbon Restoration, anniversary date that Napoleon abdicated and was exiled to Elba. Not Elbow, Elba. If I had an old Napoleon on my elbow, that'd be weird. Like
1830, Church of Christ, the original Church of the Latter Day Saints movement, is organized by Joseph Smith and others at either Batay or Manchester, New York.
Mormonism. Dum 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 dum. In 1841, the U.S. President John Tyler was sworn in 2 days after having become president upon William Henry Harrison's death. Normally they do it the day after, right? Like 2 days seems a little long. So I guess for those 2 days we were leaderless. That's kind of frightening. Although I'd rather be leaderless and have Brandon at the helm. God save us. In 1860, the reorganized Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, later renamed Community of Christ, was organized by Joseph Smith III and others at Amboy, Illinois. Okay, 2 Scientology things. Or, no, not Scientology, Mormonism things. Yeah, whatever, they're both cults. What happened in 1862?
In 1862, American Civil War, the Battle of Shiloh begins in Tennessee. Forces under Union General Ulysses S. Grant meet Confederate troops led by General Albert Sidney Johnston.
Also during the American Civil War, but 3 years later, in 1865, the Battle of Sailor's Creek occurred, in which Confederate General Robert E. Lee's Army of Northern Virginia fought and lost its last major battle while in retreat from Richmond, Virginia, during the Appomattox campaign. Interesting. So yeah, they're the last throes of the Civil War. When did the Civil War end? Let me look that up. War ends April 9th, 1865. And this said, you said something. I guess that was something else. So yeah, January, February, March, April. We're in April, so 3 days. So this is the last literal days of this war. Interesting. In 1896, in Athens, the opening of the first modern Olympic Games was celebrated 1,500 years after the original games were banned by Roman Emperor Theodosius I. Man,
interesting.
Talk about something that doesn't die.
Also, 1909, Robert Peary and Matthew Henson become the first people to reach the North Pole. Peary's claim has been disputed because of failures in his navigational ability.
Yeah, it's one of those instances where, did he or didn't he? And it's far too late to do anything that'll give substantial evidence anymore.
It's one of those you had to be there.
Yeah. 2 years later, in 1911, during the Battle of Dequeue, Dede Gjon Lule Ded Vukaj, leader of the Milosori Albanians, raised the Albanian flag in the town of Tuzi, Montenegro, for the first time after George Castroiti, aka Skanderberg. Interesting. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
1918?
1918, the Finnish Civil War, the Battle of Tampere ends.
Good. You want to take 26 as well?
Sure. In 1926, Varney Airlines makes its first commercial flight. Varney is the route company of American Airlines.
United Airlines.
Or United Airlines.
Yeah. It's interesting. That's pretty old. 3 years later, in 1929, Huey P. Long, governor of Louisiana, was impeached by the Louisiana House of Representatives. I wonder what he did. What did Huey P. Long do?
Corruption, I think.
He was Russian?
That's not corruption.
Oh, corruption. Well, what's the difference? Long created...
The Russians are honest about corruption.
Yeah. Long created a public works program that was unprecedented in the South, constructing roads, bridges, hospitals, schools, and state buildings. During his 4 years as governor, Long increased paved highways in Louisiana from 331 to 2,301 miles, and constructed 2,816 miles of gravel roads. So what did he do wrong? Like, let me see here.
They didn't do what they want.
Assassination? What the fuck? What did this guy do? Jesus Christ!
He got shot by somebody.
Oh my god. Okay, well, impeachment.
But the thing is, he got one of the bullets from the guy's gun in him, but most, some of them were also from his bodyguards.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I found here, in 1929, Long called for a special legislative session to enact a 5-cent per barrel tax on refined oil production to fund his social programs. The state's oil interests opposed the bill. Long declared in a radio address that any legislator who refused to support the tax had been bought by oil companies. Okay, so he was trying to fight against big oil and he lost. That sucks. This guy did amazing things for the public. Made life better for, unprecedented in that area of the South. And then, simply because the oil companies wanted to be greedy, they got rid of him and then killed him. Wow. Wow. That's just awful. Anyway, jumping up into 1930, at the end of the Salt March, Gandhi raised a lump of mud and salt and declared, quote, "With this I am shaking the foundations of the British Empire," end quote. Well, he kind of was right, you know? Salt and earth. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. At 1936, Toledo, Gainesville tornado outbreak. Another tornado from the same storm system as the Toledo tornado hits Gainesville, Georgia, killing 203.
Dang. 9 years later, in 1945, during World War II, the Battle of Slater's Knoll in Bougainville came to an end. And then in
1947, the first Tony Awards are presented for the theatrical achievements.
Interesting. Is that the predecessor to the Oscars, or are they different?
They're different, I think.
Well, let me see here. Tony Awards. Yeah, they're still going on. So, all right. Jumping on up into 1958, Capital Airlines Flight 67 crashed into Saginaw Bay near Freeland, Michigan, causing the deaths of 47. That sucks. Speaking of things that are flying, in 1965, launch of the Early Bird, which was the first commercial communications satellite to be placed in geosynchronous orbit. That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Also, 1968, Pierre Elliott Trudeau wins the Liberal Party leadership election and becomes Prime Minister of Canada soon afterwards.
Uh-oh, I don't like that. Trudeau and Canada, those are two words that are not good. Also in 1968, in the downtown district of Richmond, Indiana, a double explosion killed 41 and injured 150. Dang.
Yeah.
Double
In
explosion.
1970, Newhall massacre, 4 California Highway Patrol officers killed in a shootout.
Jeez. Dude, that just reminds me, like, eventually we're going to be talking about the Hollywood shootout. Remember that in the 90s? Those guys made that body armor and all that stuff, and
Yeah.
the police were just ill-equipped, and that's what led to further militarization of police. So. Anyway, 2 years later, in 1972, during the Vietnam conflict, the Easter Offensive occurred, in which U.S. forces began sustained airstrikes and naval bombardments. Good. It's war. Shell the hell out of them. Why don't you take these 273s here?
273. Okay. In 1973, the launch of the Pioneer 11 spacecraft, and also in 1973, the American League of Major League Baseball begins using the designated hitter.
Interesting. Pioneer 11 is a 260-kilogram robotic space probe launched by NASA on April 5th, 1973, to study the asteroid belt, the environment around Jupiter and Saturn, solar winds, and cosmic rays. It was the first probe to encounter Saturn, the second to fly through the asteroid belt, and the second to fly by Jupiter. Interesting. It costed $150 million US too. That is a pretty penny.
Mm-hmm.
In 1984, members of Cameroon's Republican Guard unsuccessfully attempted to overthrow the government headed by Paul Biya. Now, why don't you explain to us why the 90s were not as idealistic as most people presume?
Yeah, most people. Okay. In 1992, the Bosnian War begins. Yeah. Also, in 1994, the Rwandan Genocide begins when the aircraft carrying Rwandan President Juvenal Habyarimana and Burundian President Cyprian Ntaryamira is shut down.
Dang.
Wow. Yeah, come on. Yeah, the 90s were great. What? Music and TV? But what about people in Rwanda and Bosnia?
Yeah.
How did they feel?
Rwandan lives matter. So do Bosnian ones.
Yes. Oh, great. We have Nirvana. Good. People will want to have genocide.
Poor Rwandans. Anyway, in 1997, in Greene County, Tennessee, the Lillian murders occurred. Well, that's not good. Another reason why the 90s kind of sucked. Tennessee, you know?
But don't worry. We got Nirvana.
Well, looks like we have a double here, so I'm going to get rid of this one. You there? You got really robotic-y for there a second. Hello? Anyway, in 1998, during nuclear weapons testing, Pakistan tested a medium-range missile capable of reaching India. Uh-oh. That's not good. Lunk, I think your mic is foobar again.
No, it died. I switched.
Ah, there you are. Okay.
Yeah, in 2004, Raudonis Park has become first president of Lithuania to be peacefully removed from office by impeachment.
All right.
I can accept those terms peacefully.
Yeah. Yeah. Like if you fuck up in
Normally,
office, yeah, it's not that
normally they're
difficult.
dragged out.
Yeah. Like I don't know why people can't just be adults and like admit their faults and like, hey, if you're in office and you fuck up, okay, take me out, let me get a breather, and then if you want, give me a second shot later on, whatever. Like, just be mature about it. Like, anyway, in 2005, Kurdish leader Jalal Talabani. Hey, I know someone named Jalal. Sounds like actually no, uh, no, Jalal. I don't know. Uh, yeah, Halal Jello. Jalal Talabani became Iraqi president. Shiite Arab Ibrahim al-Jafari was named premier the next day. Yeah.
Um, the 2008 Egyptian general strike starts led by Egyptian workers later to be adopted by April 6th youth movement and Egyptian activists.
Every time I see a youth movement, I get really concerned. It sounds very fascist in one way or another. Anyway, 1 year later in 2009, a 6.3 magnitude earthquake struck near L'Aquila, Italy, causing deaths of 307. Yeesh.
Yeah.
Every time I see these earthquake things and all these deaths, I'm like, I'm in California. I don't like this.
Also, 2010 Maoist rebels kill 76 communist yeah, TRPF officers in Jagrada district, India.
I'm looking up what CRPF stands for. If, actually, did I put this in? Pioneer 11. Yeah, I think I did. Central Reserve Police Force. It's India's largest central armed police force. It functions under the authority of the Ministry of Home Affairs of the Government of India. The CRPF's primary role lies in assisting the state/union territories in police operations to maintain law and order and counter insurgency. Interesting. So they killed 76 police officers, essentially. Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The thin blue line, man. The thin blue line. Moving on up into 2011 in San Fernando, Tamaulipas, Mexico, over 193 victims of Los Zetas were exhumed from several mass graves. Yeah, not good.
Also, 2017, U.S. military launches 59 Tomahawk cruise missiles at the air base in Syria. Russia describes the strike as an aggression, as they significantly damaged U.S.-Russia ties.
Yeah, 59 Tomahawk missiles is pretty aggressive, you know. It's not like they're throwing tulips at them.
Man, one missile is fucking bad enough.
Yeah. Anyway, last but not least, in 2018, a bus carrying the Humboldt Broncos junior ice hockey team collided with a semi-truck in Saskatchewan, Canada, causing the deaths of 16 and injuring 13 others. Yeah, not good. You know, I don't much care for professional sports, but, like, when an entire team dies, that hurts. That hurts. Or at least part of a team. Because, they train together. They're brothers, Like, and that just sucks, man. Anyway, before we get into bursts of deaths here, any articles spark your interest today?
Everything in the 90s.
I had a feeling you were going to say that. I'm gonna have to.
And Cape Town also.
Yeah, Cape Town is interesting. I was going for a different thing myself. I was going to go with the Gandhi raising up, salt and earth, or mud and earth, or mud and salt. But also the North Pole thing. That's interesting. That's something that's probably never going to be figured out. It's always going to be a mystery. Right. Oh, and the founding of Mormonism. Let's not forget that. So, Actually, there's a lot of interesting articles in here. So. But anyway, moving on into births, why don't you start us off here?
Yeah, starting in 1135, Maimonides, Jewish philosopher, Torah scholar, physician, and astronomer.
Yep. Doing a bit of a time jump here. In 1852, we have Will Crooks, an English trade unionist and politician, and that is a fitting name if there ever was one. He will crook. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I am not a crook.
1881, Carl Stahl, Swedish pole vaulter and hammer thrower.
1890, Anthony Fokker, a Dutch engineer and businessman who founded Fokker Aircraft Manufacturer.
The Fokker aircrafts.
Yeah, meet the Fokkers.
Also, 1892, Donald Willis Douglas Sr., American businessman who founded the Douglas Aircraft Company.
Interesting. Two aircraft people. Just 2 years separated. And moving on up into 1922, Gordon Chatter was born on this date. He was an English-Australian comedian and actor. That is a fitting name too, Chatter.
Yeah. Also, 1937, Billy D. Williams, U.S. actor, singer, and writer.
Yep, that name is kind of familiar too.
Lando Calrissian.
That's why. That's Billy D. Williams?
Yes.
Oh.
And in the original Star Wars, and not the solo one, was Donald Glover.
Yeah.
But she did good too.
Yeah.
Not to mention that he confirmed that someone is going to be in the MCU soon.
Hmm.
Only reason why he confirmed it because he's Aaron Davis.
Well,
Aaron Davis. Yeah, Aaron Davis is the uncle of Miles Morales.
Yeah. Well, The Rock is going to be Black Lightning, or what was Black Lightning? Which one?
Black Adam.
That one, yeah. Black
Adam.
Adam.
Be the enemy of somebody. He could be the enemy of Shazam.
Can you tell I'm not a comic book guy? Anyway, 1939, we have Andre Ouellet, a Canadian lawyer and politician who is the first Canadian Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Cool. In 1939, John Sully, the U.S. businessman who co-founded Zeta Interactive.
1942, Barry Livingston was born on this date. He was a U.S. actor, director, producer, and screenwriter.
Also, in 1955, Rob Epstein, U.S. director and producer.
The one who got Epstein was Joe Epstein, right? Bill Epstein?
Jeffrey
Epstein. Okay. Also in 1955, we have Kathy Jones, a Canadian actress, comedian, and writer. That name is kind of familiar. I don't know why. So.
Also in 1956, Michelle Bachmann, U.S. lawyer and politician.
That too is a name that's familiar, and so is this next one here. And the one after that, in 1961, we have Peter Jackson, an English footballer and manager, not to be confused with the director. Yes.
Also in 1969, Paul Rudd, U.S. actor and treasurer.
Yeah. Last but certainly not least, Zach Braff, U.S. actor, director, producer, and screenwriter. He played J.D. in Scrubs, as well as what was the movie he made?
I have no idea.
What was that movie? God, I saw it. It's not the best, but it's interesting. Zach Braff movie. Oh, come on, Google. Stop being lag. You know what? I have a feeling that lag from AQ3D is causing this lag. Bad latency. Leave me alone.
I can tell you it is.
Garden State. That's what it was. Garden State. Back in 2004. Yeah. It's an interesting movie.
Okay.
Anyway, jumping on into death, starting us off in 861, we have Prudentius, a bishop of Troyes.
And the fixed time skip with 1250, Guillaume de Tournat, Grand Master of the Knights Templar.
I was wondering, because it just said he was a Grand Master, it didn't say which one. So, but I have here the first Grandmaster was Hughes D. Payens from 1118 to 1136. So, Guillaume de Sonic was. Um, Guillaume de Sonic, where are you? Well, first off, you were born in 1250, so let's go past 1250. It's. Oh, here it is. No, wait. Oh, yeah, this is Des. Okay, so he died in 1250. So, yeah, he was the 18th Grand Master, serving from 1247 to 1250. Anyway, 1523, we have Henry Stafford, 1st Earl of Wiltshire. He was an English nobleman.
Hmm. Okay. Also in 1621, Edward Seymour, first Earl of Hertford.
1676, John Winthrop the Younger died on the state. He was an English politician who was the first governor of Connecticut.
Hmm. Also in 1680, Arthur Annesley, first Earl of Anglesey, Irish English politician.
Doing a pretty substantial time jump here, 1944, we have Rose O'Neill, a U.S. cartoonist, illustrator, artist, and writer.
1974, Hudson Fish, Australian pilot and businessman who co-founded Qantas Airways Limited.
In the year 2000, we have Habib Bourguiba, a Tunisian politician who is the first president of Tunisia.
Yeah. And in 2003, we have Anita Borg, U.S. scientist and educator who founded Anita Borg Institution for Women in Technology. We do not need any Borg. She's a skill.
Yeah, she's a fucking Borg. She's like Anita Borg, really? She's a computer scientist and educator? She's subverting. She's trying to add us to the collective. Resistance is not futile. I'm sorry, the Star Trek reference.
Yeah.
Anyway, in 2010, we have Wilma Mankiller, a U.S. tribal leader. I don't like how she got that name. That's kind of alarming.
2012, Thomas Kincaid, U.S. painter and illustrator.
Yeah, why is that name so familiar? Thomas Kincaid. Oh, come on, internet. Well, it won't let me look up Thomas Kincaid. There we go. Thomas Kincaid. William Thomas Kincaid III was a U.S. painter or of popular realistic pastoral an idyllic subject. He is notable for achieving success during his lifetime with the mass marketing of his work as printed reproductions and other licensed products by means of the Thomas Kincaid Company. I think maybe like from puzzles? I don't know. This name's in my brain and I don't know why. Anyway, jumping on up, 2014, Mickey Rooney died on the States. He was a U.S. soldier, actor, and dancer.
2014, Massimo Tornabuoni, Italian motorcycle designer who co-founded Bimoto.
2015, James Best, U.S. actor, director, and screenwriter. But was he the best, though?
Yeah. 2015, Ray Charles, U.S. singer and songwriter and conductor.
Is this the, like...
Yes.
The blind black guy, right?
Yes.
I didn't know he died.
One who made... Yeah, he died.
Wow. Huh, I thought it was just one of those offshoot names. Anyway, well, that's kind of sad news. In 2016, we have Merle Haggard, a U.S. singer, songwriter, and guitarist.
In 2017, Don Rickles, U.S. actor and comedian.
2019, Michelle O'Donnell, a British physician, journalist, author, and broadcaster.
2020, James Duray, U.S. actor known for his roles as the title character in the TV series The Virginia.
I have no idea who that is. I've noticed that my source with several people it says like weird information that it never really says about anybody else. It's
Oh,
like,
the TV series The Virginians of Western.
ah. Anyway,
It's a
that
Western
concludes
star.
the show. Once again, check the underbar for any links that you may be interested in, which also includes.
Showing TV on Twitch.
Yeah, go check him out. You know, what is it you play? Dead by Daylight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty fun stuff watching him. So I recommend it. It also has everything Omni Coalition. We stream every day between 12 to 3 p.m. Pacific time, which is also.
3 to 5 Central.
Yep. For all of you and all of us, I am Aoxander.
I'm on.
And you are you. Until you see us tomorrow, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles!